Okay, so this is going to be a super short lesson. This is just a review over slope. We're going to talk about how to find the slope between two different lines, and then also how to graph a line um, from slope-intercept form. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, we need to know how to find the slope between 2 points. The points can be labeled x1, y1, and then x2, y2. So if I'm given the points -3, comma, -4, and -7, -10. Might as well just put a bunch of negatives in there. I need to find the slope between the 2 points. So my formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then we have to plug in. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. And I'm going to plug in the points. So my y2 value is -10 minus my y1 value is -4. Always going to be a minus sign in between. That might eventually change to a plus sign if we've got double negatives, but every single time we want to put a minus sign in there so we don't miss it. Then on the bottom I have -7 minus -3. So we can use a calculator, can try to do mental math here, whatever you feel like doing. Okay, -10 minus -4, that minus the negative is going to end up being plus. So -10 plus 4 would be -6. And then in the denominator, -7 minus -3, that would end up being +3, so it'd be -4. And then I don't want to leave my answer like that. It needs to be reduced, simplified. So those are both even numbers, divisible by 2, plus the double negative can go away. So my answer is going to be 3/2. And I'm going to label this m, because in slope-intercept form and stuff, when we're talking about slope, the variable used is m. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of finding the slope between 2 points. We should remember that from previous classes. Okay, the next point says find the slope of the line and sketch the graph. So I'm given an equation in standard form. That means the x and the y are on the same side of the equal sign. I need to solve this for y, get it in slope-intercept form, identify the slope, and then sketch the graph. So I need to put this into y equals mx plus b. Okay, the m value is my slope. The b value is my y-intercept. So you're going to want to write that down. Those are important notes. And then I'm just going to apply it to this example. So I need to solve 5x minus 2y equals 10. I need to solve it for y. So I'm going to move my x term over. So -2y equals -5x plus 10. Okay, a lot of times students might want to write 10 minus 5x, which is technically right, but that's not slope-intercept form. So we always want to put our x term first. And then to finish solving for y, I need to divide everything by -2. So y equals -5 over -2. Well, that doesn't reduce, but the negative signs can cancel. So I'm left with 5 over 2x. And then 10 over -2 is -5. Okay, so now we need to pick out the pieces and parts and we need to sketch a graph here. I know you guys don't have a graph on your paper, but you can just sketch a quick graph like we did in the previous section. So when you're graphing, the first thing that you graph is your y-intercept. And then the second thing that you do is use your slope, which is rise over run. So my first point is going to be my y-intercept, which is -5. So that's this here. So I'm going to go down 5 and plot a point. Okay, then I'm going to use my slope to get 2 more points because you need 3 points to make a line. So my slope is 5 over 2. So I'm going to go up 5 and over 2 and plot a point. And I went from my y-intercept to here. And then I'm going to do it again so that I have 3 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. And then my points are super far apart because my graph is so big. But if your graph is smaller, your line is going to be shorter. But you need to make sure that you extend your line through the points and try to make it as straight as possible. So we'll see how I do here. Yeah, not too shabby. Okay, so make sure that you connect all the points, extend through. You shouldn't have a tiny little line that just connects the 3 dots. You need to go through the points with arrows on the end. So we talked about how to find the slope between 2 points, and we talked about how to go from standard form to slope-intercept form and then graph it. Again, this was a pretty quick lesson because it should be a review from your previous math classes.